Tonight, something strange has happened. You've stepped out of the world you knew. Things feel quieter, slower. The air hums differently. You might be standing at a riverbank, or floating down a tunnel, or staring at a hallway that definitely wasn't in your house 5 minutes ago. Wherever you are, one thing's certain. You've crossed a threshold. But don't panic. You're not the first. For thousands of years, people have imagined this moment, the Great Transition, and every culture had its own guidebook. Some say you need coins. Some say you'll be judged by your deeds. Others say you'll be questioned by baboon-headed scribes in a room filled with smoke and stars. This is your afterlife survival guide, a calm walkthrough of what the ancients believed happens after life changes. Think of it as a mythological orientation, a spiritual passport check, maybe even a cosmic customer service tutorial. You'll learn which river not to drink from, why it's polite to greet the three-headed dog, and what to do if your soul gets caught in a bureaucratic loop between reincarnation and rebirth. Some journeys are peaceful, some are terrifying, some are, strangely, administrative. But don't worry, I'll be with you every step of the way. So as we begin our tour through forgotten judgment halls, smoky temples, and ferry rides to who knows where, I just have one small question for you. Where in the world are you listening from? And what time is it there? Because while time can get a little strange once you've left the usual map, for now, we're still here together. And it's time to begin. Let's start with the first step of every great metaphysical journey. You've arrived. Now what? You don't remember blinking, but everything's different. Time doesn't feel real. There's no sun, no clock, no sense of left or right. Just a strange stillness, like the universe is holding its breath. In some cultures, this is the soul leaving the body. Others say it's your spirit shedding its skin. Some describe a subtle weightlessness. Others report hearing water, or music, or footsteps that aren't yours. But you're not alone, because in most mythologies, something or someone notices your arrival. Sometimes it's a god, sometimes a messenger, and sometimes nothing happens at all. You just wait and wait. In Greek stories, you might find yourself near a river, foggy, slow-moving, quiet. In Egyptian belief, your essence might be greeted by Anubis, the jackal-headed figure who gently guides you toward judgment. In Hindu traditions, a subtle body, your sukshma sharira, begins its transition, carrying the imprint of your past actions. Every tradition agrees on one thing: you've moved. You're somewhere new. Not quite here, not quite gone. What comes next? Well, that depends on what you brought with you. And that's where the paperwork starts. No one tells you this part, but mythological transitions involve forms. Lots of them. If you're Greek, you'll need a coin, ideally placed under your tongue or on your eyes. Payment for Charon, the boatman of the river Styx. No coin, no crossing. Enjoy the riverbank. In ancient Egypt, it's a bit more formal. Your heart is weighed against a feather. Light as truth. You're in. Heavy with bad choices. That's when Ammit shows up. She's not here for hugs. In Chinese mythology, you'll find yourself in a ghostly courtroom. Judges, scribes, scrolls that list your entire life. Even the stuff you thought no one noticed. You might need to walk across a bridge or argue your case with a divine clerk who's very tired of excuses. The Mesopotamians, they preferred silence. You walk downward through dusty gates, handing over your worldly items at each stop. It's not personal, just policy. The lesson: always carry tokens or bribes, or a scroll with glowing references, and keep your attitude polite. You're not in charge here. Of course, all that bureaucracy is just the warm-up, because now comes judgment. If you thought your taxes were stressful, wait till you meet your afterlife trial. In most traditions, there's a test, or 10. In ancient Egypt, it's all about truth. You stand before Osiris while your heart is placed on a golden scale. Featherlight, welcome to paradise, too heavy. Well, remember Ammit? She's still hungry. In Hindu belief, you may meet Yama, the Lord of Justice, who decides the next chapter of your soul's journey. Whether that's a peaceful rebirth, a detour through punishment, or something more symbolic. Don't worry, it's all karmically balanced. Mostly. The Greeks imagined a tribunal of 3 judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Iacchus. They don't know you personally, but they've read your file. If things go well, you might end up in the Elysian fields. If not, enjoy the fields of asphodel, the mythological equivalent of an eternal waiting room. The Persians had Chimvat Bridge, narrow as a hair, sharp as a blade. If your soul's clean, easy crossing. If not, it's a long fall. And in some stories, the trial is physical. Obstacle courses, monster guards, puzzles, riddles, the afterlife, as imagined by people who were really into escape rooms. But don't panic. Most myths agree. There's a path forward. The tricky part is knowing which one is yours. And now that you've survived intake and judgment, let's look at your housing options. Because next up, we're visiting where you might be headed. Your first stop is quiet, fog-shaded, damp with memory. You've crossed the river by ferry, if you paid Karen. If not, you're still waiting on the far shore, listening to the ripple of coins and the occasional groan of someone realizing they forgot theirs. Here in Hades, the underworld isn't fire and torment. It's paperwork and eternity. The dead aren't tortured. They're categorized. Most end up in the fields of asphodel, a bland grey plain for ordinary souls. It's not bad. It's just eternal beige. If you were virtuous or heroic, you might get promoted to the Elysian fields, where the sun shines, the breeze is warm, and the food is oddly always perfect. Some choose to stay forever. Others reincarnate, risking 3 perfect lives in a row for access to the Isles of the Blessed. Few succeed. But if your name is whispered with curses, or if your crimes make the gods shift uncomfortably, you go lower. Tartarus. No welcome mat, just walls, echoes, and stories that never end well. Whatever your destination, don't complain, don't argue, and definitely don't sass Persephone. She runs this place half the year, and she remembers who left bad offerings. As you step away from the riverbanks of Hades, you find the air thickening, golden and heavy, like a dream underwater. Which brings us to Egyptian Duat. This isn't a place you walk into, you sail. The Duat stretches across night itself, a realm where the sun god Ra journeys every evening, battling chaos so the dawn may return. And along this journey, you're a passenger, but eventually your boat docks, and you're asked to step off. Before you lies a court, judges, scrolls, a room lit by stars. At the center, Osiris, the ruler of this place, and Anubis, silent and precise, weighing your heart against a feather. It's not a metaphor. The scale is real. So is the feather. So is the tension. Behind Anubis waits Ammit, part lion, part hippo, part crocodile. She does not forgive. She does not chew twice. If your heart is light, honest, unburdened, you move forward, through fields, past lotus flowers, toward eternity with your ancestors. If not, Ammit opens her jaws, and the story ends there. Unless you've studied your negative confessions, a list of "I have not" statements meant to prove your moral worth. It's a kind of resume, but the stakes are higher. In the duat, truth is not subjective, it's carved. And from the golden glow of judgment, we now step into something colder, still, and vast. This is not Valhalla. There are no roaring feasts, no battle songs, no warm fires, just silence, ice, a kind of stillness that feels permanent. Helheim waits for those who passed on without great glory or shame, the ordinary, the forgotten, the ones who lived and left quietly. And that's most of us, isn't it? The realm lies beneath the roots of the world tree, Yggdrasil. Here Hel, the daughter of Loki, rules with an expression you can't quite read. Half her face is beautiful, the other, bone. She's not cruel, just administrative. Your body may not feel like yours here. It feels older, heavier, like it belongs to the soil. Time doesn't move here so much as echo. You may wonder what you're waiting for. Ragnarok, perhaps. A final unfreezing. But until then, your memories fade like frost on stone. And as you sit in that endless chill, you might find yourself reaching for warmth, for noise. Even dust would be something. And that's exactly what awaits in the next realm. The land of the dead is behind 7 gates. Each one demands a toll, a necklace, a ring, a crown. Everything is left behind, not as punishment, but because it cannot follow. By the time you arrive, you are naked, silent, and alone. Irkalla is a city of dust. Its queen, Ereshkigal, watches from her throne of stone. No speeches, no fanfare, just a nod. You're here now. The afterlife here isn't painful, just empty. Your body drinks dust. Your voice goes unused. You shuffle among shades who no longer remember their names. Oddly enough, your comfort here depends on the living. If your descendants leave offerings, your shade glows with a faint warmth. If they forget you, your existence dims. In this realm, memory is food. Love is heat. Without it, you settle into the earth like dry leaves. But a rumbling sound begins in the silence. Not thunder, not footsteps, foot traffic, and papers. Welcome to your next stop. This afterlife is a bureaucracy, and you have been summoned to court. Diu is a vast underground network of caverns, chambers, and judges. There are 10 courts, maybe 18. Some say even more. Each soul is evaluated, sorted, and processed, sometimes for centuries. The judges of Diu aren't evil. They're meticulous. They read from your book of life, call witnesses, and determine your fate. Every action you took, including the ones you thought didn't matter, is weighed. There are punishments, yes, but they're not eternal. Think of them more as karmic adjustments. Some are poetic, others are blunt. Rebalancing, one painful lesson at a time. Eventually, you're offered tea, Mungpo's tea. It erases all memory, so you can be reincarnated without baggage. You drink and forget and begin again. But some memories echo even after forgetting, like fingerprints pressed into your soul. And that's exactly what comes next. Welcome to Naraka, a realm not of damnation, but delay. Here, your spirit rests, learns, endures. You're not here forever, just long enough to understand something. Every punishment is specific. Every realm is tailored, cold, hot, swamps of regret or mountains of noise. Depends what your past lives carried in. But eventually, the sentence ends, and then the wheel turns. Rebirth is not random. It's your next assignment, a life that matches what you've earned or what you need to learn. You might return as a king, a cow, a breeze on someone's cheek. You don't get to choose, but there is structure and hope. Because one day you may rise above the cycle. The wheel stops, the soul rests. That's moksha, the quiet beyond needing to return. But before that, the wheel keeps spinning, and your next stop is a map of all the ways it can turn. Let's keep moving into the many-layered realms of Buddhist rebirth. The afterlife is not a destination, it's a wheel. In Buddhist tradition, samsara isn't a single underworld. It's the full cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, spinning across 6 possible realms. Your next life depends on karma, intention, and clarity. You might wake again in the Deva realm, among gods and comforts. But ease breeds complacency. Fall is inevitable. The Asura realm is for the prideful, powerful but angry, always fighting, never fulfilled. The human realm, rare, fragile, and full of opportunity. Hardship and insight live side by side. Fall further, and you land in the animal realm, ruled by instinct and fear. Deeper still lies the hungry ghost realm, full of craving and dissatisfaction, where desire is a thirst that cannot be quenched. And finally, naraka. Not punishment, but suffering as purification. Icy plains, burning fields. Every pain is a lesson, and all lessons end. Eventually. There is no judge here, no gatekeeper, only cause and effect. The only escape, enlightenment. Insight so complete it lifts you out of the cycle entirely. But if you're not there yet, the wheel turns again. This time it stops in a land where the mists shimmer, and time begins to warp. Here the borders are thin. The Celtic otherworld is not a separate land beneath the earth, but one that overlaps, hidden behind a hill, beneath a lake, or just beyond the last oak tree. You don't enter it, you stumble into it, or get invited. It's a place of eternal feast, music, and beauty. The air is sweet, the sky never dims, but time moves strangely here. You may stay a night and return to find a century gone. Some say it's a paradise, others a trap wrapped in silver. The rules are subtle. Eat or drink, and you might not leave. Dance too long, and your name fades from the world. But it's not unkind. It's just enchanted. Everything here feels like memory and dream stitched together. Eventually, a breeze will change direction, and you'll feel a pull. Eastward maybe, or deeper. The mists part again, and behind them waits a land where silence is sticky, and even the gods look away. It's not hell, it's not heaven, it's just after. Yomi is a shadowed land, damp, heavy, not fiery, but weighed down with stillness and grief. It's the realm Izanami entered when she died, and could not return. In the myths, her husband Izanagi came looking for her, but when he lit a torch and saw what she had become, he fled, she chased, and when he sealed the entrance, she cursed him, and all of humanity. Yomi is not cruel, but it is lonely. The longer you stay, the more you forget, the more you fade. There's no judgment here, no punishment, just the slow, quiet settling of everything into dusk. You might still hear the world, echoes, faint laughter, someone calling your name. But the farther in you go, the less you remember what it meant. Sometimes a spirit guide might arrive, in bones or in dreams. They may walk you to the edges, and if you're very lucky, a door opens downward, into warmth, into music, where the ancestors wait, with hats tilted and cigars burning. There's music in the air, even underground. Gwynny lies beneath the waters, a lush, dreamy version of home, where the dead gather under the guardianship of Baron Samedi. He's dressed sharp, talks rough, but he sees everything. This is not a sad place. The ancestors laugh here, they drink, they remember you. To reach Guinea, the body must be honored, the spirit must be guided. If the rituals are done right, the soul joins the great circle. If not, it lingers, restless. There are vives, symbols drawn in flour or ash, and songs sung late into the night. Every gesture helps the spirit cross. Once in Guinea, time relaxes, grudges dissolve, but the soul doesn't sleep. It listens, watches. Sometimes it returns in dreams to offer warnings or blessings. Here, the afterlife is family. The living and dead just live on different floors of the same house. But the ocean fades now, the light dims again, and we drift into a different kind of forever, one written not in music, but in stories and stars. There is no line between life and afterlife, only a shift in song. In many Aboriginal traditions, when someone passes, they return to the dreaming, the timeless spiritual reality that connects people, land, and ancestors. It's not after life. It's underneath it, within it. Here, the ancestors move through the land, shaping rivers, hills, and the wind. Their paths are walked in ceremony, in memory, and in story. Your presence doesn't disappear. It changes form, becomes part of the soil, the stars, the shared dream of all life. There's no judgment here, no gates to cross. Instead, there's remembering of who you were, of where you belong. Some say you walk back along the song lines, the sacred tracks laid by ancestral beings. If your people sing you home, the journey is smooth. If not, you still find your way. It just takes longer. And now, our journey begins to close. But there are still paths left, windswept, icy, flickering with firelight, in lands where the snow is deep and the spirits speak few words. These paths fork. In some Romani traditions, the soul lingers after passing, revisiting the places and people it loved. Eventually, it moves on. Some believe in reincarnation, others in a skybound realm where ancestors dwell, watching quietly. There are no courts, no long tunnels, just a journey home, through dreams, through song, through memory. Further north, in Inuit stories, the soul may travel to Adlivun, a realm beneath the ice where Sedna, the sea goddess, waits. It is cold, yes, but not cruel. Those who lived well walk freely. Those who caused harm must wait, reflect, endure the cold. Not punishment, purification. Eventually, all find balance. Some are reborn as animals, some join the wind, others shine as guiding lights above. No matter the form, no one is truly gone. The journey ends not in silence, but in transformation. And that brings us to our final chapter, where we learn how to actually survive all this, and maybe cheat the system. First impressions matter, especially when your eternal fate might depend on a celestial performance review. Depending on your mythological jurisdiction, you could be facing Osiris, Yama, Minos, or some combination of them. Sometimes they're on thrones, sometimes holding scales, sometimes just glaring in silence while flipping through your afterlife resume. Tip number 1, be honest. Most of them already know what you did. Osiris literally weighs your heart against a feather. Yama reads karma like a grocery list. And Minos, he's Greek. He loves drama, but hates liars. Tip number 2. Be polite. Respect goes far, even beyond this realm. Avoid sarcasm unless you're facing Baron Samedi, in which case, maybe lean into it. Tip number 3. Have your paperwork. Negative confessions, Egypt. Soul scroll, China. Record of good deeds, Hindu. If you showed up empty-handed, you might get extra reincarnation homework. You don't have to be perfect, just sincere and slightly prepared. Because if you mess this part up, you might find yourself reporting to Cerberus, or worse, HR. Next up, what should have been in your celestial carry-on in the first place? You can't take it all with you. But some things, you absolutely should. In ancient Greece, a coin under the tongue paid Charon the ferryman. No coin. You wait on the shore, forever. In Egypt, you needed your Book of the Dead, full of spells, passwords, and an entire chapter titled, "Do not get your heart eaten by a crocodile." In Chinese traditions, paper money and goods are burned for you, including entire mansions, credit cards, and luxury cars. In the afterlife, apparently everyone is a landlord. Hindu and Buddhist souls might carry karma like invisible luggage. Heavy travelers beware. Other solid options, amulets, sacred herbs, poems, or a really flattering portrait of yourself, in case reincarnation options are flexible. Oh, and snacks. Always snacks. The Celts knew the food might trap you, but at least you wouldn't be hungry. Now that you're packed, let's talk about who, or what, might greet you on the other side. Not every underworld is ruled by gods. Some outsource. You might first encounter Cerberus, the three-headed dog of Hades. He's not evil, just enthusiastic. Pro tip: don't pet him unless you're sure you're allowed. Then there's Ammit, the devourer, crocodile-lion-hippo hybrid. If your heart's too heavy, she will eat it. Not symbolic, literal. In Norse myth, Valkyries might whisk you to Valhalla mid-battle, like elite Uber drivers in winged helmets. In many traditions, psychopomps guide the soul. Messengers like Hermes, Iris, or even birds or wolves, depending on the region. Just follow and don't ask too many questions. You may pass hungry ghosts in Buddhist realms, tortured spirits with tiny necks and big appetites. Offer them food if you can, or just don't make eye contact. And if you're headed into DU, demonic clerks with long scrolls and ink-stained fingers await. They don't bite, but they do judge spelling errors. The afterlife has its regulars. Be respectful, keep moving, and don't assume you're the main character. Now that you know who's on patrol, let's cover what not to do. Mistakes happen, but in the afterlife, a small misstep can echo for eternity. Number 1, don't look back. Orpheus did. His girlfriend vanished mid-walk. Izanagi did. His wife turned into a rotting god corpse. When in doubt, eyes forward. Trick 2, don't eat the food. In Greek myth, Persephone ate 6 pomegranate seeds. Result, seasonal underworld custody. In Celtic and Fey stories, a single bite locks you in like a magical Airbnb lease. 3, don't steal anything. Sacred items aren't souvenirs. Ask Prometheus how that fire theft went. Spoiler, liver regeneration is not fun. 4, don't argue with divine beings, even if they're wrong, even if they look like your cousin. The Norse gods turn insults into transformation punishments faster than you can blink. 5, don't make deals you don't understand. This includes bargains with trickster gods, crossroads spirits, and anyone who appears with dramatic smoke. The afterlife is a maze. Curiosity is fine. But hubris, that's a round-trip ticket to Tartarus. If you manage to behave, though, you might just unlock the best outcome of all. So, what happens next? Some mythologies offer you a promotion, a move to a higher realm, maybe Elysium, maybe a god-tier seat next to Odin. You've earned your peace, or at least your celestial coffee break. Others prefer the recycling model. Hindu and Buddhist beliefs offer reincarnation, tailored to karma. Lived well, you may return as a wise person. Messed up, enjoy your tour as a dung beetle. Then there's permanent residency, in the Greek asphodel meadows or Norse Helheim. Most souls just exist, not suffering, not rejoicing, just ambient, slightly bored ghosts in divine suburbia. Sometimes you get choice, rebirth, peace, or a return to serve as a guide for others. Occasionally, a mistake happens, and you get a glitchy second life as a goose. Don't be rude to geese. It might be Kevin from your last job. Whatever the case, nothing is final. Unless you're in Tartarus, that's more of a fixed contract. You've walked through dust and starlight, rivers and riddles, maybe even filled out a few celestial forms. You've stood in judgment before gods with feathers, scales, scrolls, and side eyes. You've tiptoed past three-headed dogs, dodged reincarnation roulette, and learned, hopefully, not to eat the glowing pomegranate. From the golden fields of Elysium to the cold silence of Helheim. From dream-choked valleys to maze-like halls of paperwork and poetry. You've made the rounds. And here's the good news. Most souls get where they need to go, eventually. Even if they take a few scenic detours through karma, shadow realms, or 10,000 bureaucratic sub-levels. In myth, the afterlife isn't always a reward or a punishment. Sometimes it's just another part of the journey, another realm to wander through, another place to reflect, rest, or reset. So if tonight's tour left you curious, comforted, or just softly confused, that's okay. Even gods don't have all the answers, especially the ones in charge of directions. Wherever you are, and whatever time it is there, thanks for traveling with me tonight. May your passage be smooth, your guide be patient, your paperwork be correct, and if you hear footsteps in the mist or see a ferry drifting toward shore, don't worry, just check your pockets. Sleep well, and don't forget the coins.